leaving the Keys now, and we're gonna go meet up with Ryan up north so we can try some new areas. Probably head out for 5 days and see what we can shoot.
So I'm Ryan Rush. I own the dive source, and I teach free diving, spearfishing, and do dive charters out of St. Augustine.
Oh my God, great answer. Call it even, bro. Yes, great.
So these guys picked me up, loaded up the van, packed it basically to the brim, full dive gear, tanks, spear guns, and then we hopped on 95, headed north. So we got up there, we got to the boat. It was a lot colder than we expected.
Yeah, I got to the boat and I mean, I was born in the Keys and I'm thin-blooded. It was cold. I'm not used to being that cold. I mean, it was freezing to me at least.
Good luck. Steering's weird, Mark. You gotta turn it so much. It's real, like, light. It makes sense. Going sailing. Day 1. Ready to sling some steel with the legend, Steel Rocket. Day 1 out of 5. Headed out. Ready to go pack some coolers. Maybe see a great white or two. I guess where we're at, the great whites have been pinging a lot, like some up to like 15 foot or so are out there right now. We'll run into one. That'll be kind of interesting.
We had about 80-mile jump. It was freezing, so we took turns, about 5 hours each driving. There's no autopilot on the boat, unfortunately, so you're either driving the boat or you're resting and getting ready to drive the boat.
Ones that always steal my fish. Yeah, we've been switching off driving. He got the first half, now I got the second one. About halfway there. This boat doesn't go too quick, so we're only going about, say, 8 knots or so, if that.
So the boat was a 36-foot Thompson trawler. We knew the boat had a little bit of issues.
Yeah, on this trip, it actually wasn't one of my boats. We're running for someone else, and he told us specifically that he doesn't want us to turn the engine off. So we're going out there for 5 days or so, and he wanted the engine on at all times. At night, anchored up, whenever. So he didn't want to give us a particular reason at first why, so it was kind of sketchy a little bit. Like you weren't sure what the deal was, whether it was a starter or what.
It's about 10 o'clock at night, and we just pulled up to the spot. We're gonna throw anchor real quick here once I get this drift right. Try to get right above it for the morning.
Yeah, we got out there late at night and we threw the anchor over on a spot nearby where we wanted to hit, you know. And basically, you know, we stayed at night. The whole trip up, I mean, whether it's driving the car or the boat to get there, like all that time, all I could think about was diving these spots. And next morning, first light, we got ready and everything and just ready to dive basically.
So where we're diving is commonly known as Freighter Alley. So we gotta be on point, make sure we're watching for the shipping lanes, make sure we're watching our bubbles, make sure we're watching for other recreational vessels as well as fishing vessels. And just make sure, you know, you have your divers back. You know, when you're diving deep depths like this, you know, 180 plus foot, the last thing you want to be thinking when you're down there is if the guy up top has my back and if my boat's going to be there. So we pull up to the spot day 1, Steel gets dive 1. So as I drop them off about 180 foot of water, you know, the current's ripping. It's hard enough to watch people's bubbles and current like that. Then you throw in the wave factor, it gets pretty difficult.
So I jumped in, I was heading down to my cameraman. and I'm swimming down to the bottom real quick because I'm getting blown away, just blown across the spot. I'm trying to swim down as fast as I can. And I looked up when I got like just above the bottom. I look up and my cameraman is a speck just flying away from me. And I was just like, there's nothing I could do really, because you know, if I would have went after him, I wouldn't have been able to dive the spot. I mean, the only cover I had when it gets really strong current like that, the only cover you have is the bottom. So you always got to use it to your advantage, like a structure. And so I was stuck down there shooting, and he got flown off the spot, and that kind of messed a lot of things up from the start there.
So the cameraman ended up getting separated from Steele. So I ended up having to pick the cameraman up about a half a mile from the dive site, and then by that time Steele was about a mile from that.
Yeah, so I knew Mark was going to be okay, so I just kept going with the dive. I kept looking around for groupers and everything. I swam right over this real old loggerhead. The thing was well over 100 pounds for sure, but he didn't even notice me there. And I ended up seeing a gag grouper as my first one nearby a cave here. I kind of closed in on him, waited for the shot, ended up shooting him right in the brain area, stopping him cold, disabled him. It was nice because the current down there and the depth and everything, I don't got much time, so it was pretty nice being able to, disable this fish quickly and be able to string it back up quick and be ready for another shot, adding a lot of time to my dive. I reloaded my other gun. I didn't see any other fish nearby, but I just have both guns ready in case the next section of the rock's gonna have more. As soon as I reloaded, I saw an even bigger gag, a couple of them actually, and then I noticed something was behind me. I turn around and there's a sandbar shark right on me, just waiting for me to shoot another fish. And it was just sucked because there's so many gags around me. I mean, I just knew I had to shoot one. I knew this thing was going to be messing with me the whole dive. He's already messing with me, so I ended up shooting this gag. And jumping on him real quick. Pretty good shot. Didn't stone him, but very disabling shot right next to the brain. Jumped on him and watched that shark closely. He'll come right in. Strung a few groupers up, including a scamp. I started rising up to go to deco. Just starting to watch the shark real close. Because he'll take the fish when they're away from you like this, so just trying to keep an eye on him. Once I'm away from structure, it seemed to give me a lot more problems, so once I hit deco here, he seemed to be on me a lot more. And when I have the shark come in like this, I mean, it's not as much a fear, it's more like I'm worried I'm going to lose my catch and what I just worked so hard to get in my day's pay. So it's not the same feelings most people would get, but it's also a feeling of respect because I know that thing could rip me in half if it wanted to. But I had to do the right moves and have the right behavior to not let that happen.